Why do felons lose the right to vote? Only a handful of states permanently disenfranchise convicted felons. In most cases, the right to vote is restored when they complete their sentence. The reason why felons lose the right to vote in the first place is complex and rooted in both post-Civil War racism trying to disenfranchise black people and historic views on crime breaking the social contract. But they can run for president. You can't just make a law that says minorities can't vote, but what you can do is make a law saying felons can't vote and then railroad as many minority persons as possible into felony convictions. It is quite literally racism. I know, everything's 'cause of racism, but this time it actually is very clearly just racism. It's largely a holdover from the Jim Crow era, when post-Civil War America used it as a means to prevent all these newly freed slaves, whom it would be easy to charge with a minor felony like criminal mischief, from voting. Benjamin Tillman, governor of South Carolina during the Jim Crow era, explicitly said that their felony disenfranchisement was a direct effort to disenfranchise black folks post-abolition. A lot of prisons are in sparsely populated areas. It would really mess up local politics if a large portion of your electorate were prisoners with no interest in the well-being of the local area. You're outside of society, so your representation is redundant. Short answer. We wrote it down long short answer. If you cannot follow at least the big rules of society, then you don't get to help decide how society works. It's mostly about disenfranchising minority voters. I found, if you have a question about why we do things a certain way in America, in the end it's one or both of two answers: racism or capitalism. Systemic racism and class oppression, but the superficial reason is that if you commit a felony, you don't deserve to participate in democracy. However, you can commit a felony and run for president. So as we can see, this is not designed to remove felons from political power, it is designed to remove poor people and black people from having civil rights. It's state by state. I can vote here in MD as long as I'm no longer incarcerated. Once released, you can vote. Other states require you to be off probation, etc. Felons lose voting rights as a form of punishment, reflecting a belief that committing a crime shows a lack of respect for the law. Only some states do that, and they do it 'cause they know that minorities get convicted more than white people by the laws made by the people who said felons can't vote, laws that get enforced by the same police who get paid by the people who said felons can't vote. The people who said felons can't vote are also the same people who defund public services in minority areas, leading to disparity in those communities, a common cause of youth crime, almost like it's a way to prevent minorities from voting by leveraging the law against them. Yes, this, and the elevations of more and more crimes to be categorized as felonies, has made me question the whole disenfranchisement with regard to voting. To me, I really think disenfranchisement should only apply to those involved in political or election crimes, or treason, espionage, murder, assault, and so on shouldn't be disqualifying. I'm all for more voter participation. Ideally, it'd be best if we increased participation instead of trying to restrict participation. My husband is a felon and can vote. His was stupid though. We both bought pews from a local pawn shop. A few months later he was outside. Neighbors flipped out for him open carrying, called the police, and he found out he was a restricted person even though he passed the background check. He fought it and lost. They don't, or well, it's dependent on the state. Some you can once you are out of prison. Some you can't be on probation. Some you might have to reapply, though I don't know how that goes. It's important to understand that MLK was still battling post-Civil War era racism. It never went away. The modern Republican Party was formed around opposition to ending this. The majority of states that still do this are the former Confederation. In most places, they don't. It's the uncommon exception, rather than the rule, where felons are permanently disenfranchised. All of the answers citing racism and classism are correct, but I feel it's important to clarify that most felons can vote because the popular myth that they are universally unable to is deeply harmful. Because of this common misunderstanding, many felons who could vote don't even try to. It's almost like a secondary disenfranchisement that results from misinformation rather than actual legal barriers. They can't vote but can run for the highest office. Define the context in which you are describing. It sounds like you are under the belief that somebody who has been previously convicted of the felony can never register to vote under any situations, which would be inaccurate. Therefore, I'm just seeking clarity by asking the above question.